Hello, health coaches. It's very nice to see you here today. I am super excited about today's episode because over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking more and more about social media inside our Facebook group. And I keep hearing coaches say, and I hear this all the time, I hear coaches say, oh, social media doesn't work. I gave it up. I gave it up for Lent, I gave it up forever. I don't want to market myself online. It's the pits. And I get it. I do. I get it. So hard. Social media is absolutely a mixed bag. But at the end of the day, it is a super powerful tool. And for the most part, completely free, this tool that we just have at our disposal. So today I have invited Danielle onto the show. She is a new health coach, like so many of you. She is a Healthy Profit University member, and she's going to be telling us about her recent success using social media. And I'm going to introduce Danielle in just a second. But first, if you haven't already signed up, my upcoming 5-day social media training is available for free, and we get started real soon. I'm going to help you, like Danielle, create a social media strategy that works, that helps you see a return in your business. And you can sign up for free at healthcoachpower.com/social. I'm going to say that again. It's healthcoachpower.com/social. And I'll drop that link into the comments for those of you that are here live. Hey, everybody. Now I'd like to introduce you to Danielle. Danielle is a scientist. She's a mom. She's a Hashimoto's warrior, and she's a member of Healthy Profit University. Danielle, I'm going to take you off mute. Let's make sure I can hear you. There you are. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
You'll have to start off by telling everybody. I know more about your story, of course, than everybody listening, but let's go back like a year ago. What did your business look like then?
Non-existent. My business there was no business. I had, COVID had just started. And I had actually signed like one client talking to somebody at a yoga studio. And then COVID started and nobody knew what was happening. I had one session with this woman and then, everything stopped. So I was like, I need help. I don't know the business of coaching. I know science. I know health. I don't know business. Like, what would I know about business? I was like a nonprofit science guru for years. So that's when I signed up for HBU, was last spring. Wow, last spring.
Okay, so you had I know it has been the longest year ever. So you had one kind of client. That was about it. And let's jump to now. I'm curious, how many clients today? How many clients are you working with? How big is your mailing list? How far have you come?
Holy moly. It makes my head spin. Okay, so I have 6 private clients. I have 26 clients in a group coaching program that started yesterday, an 8-week program.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I have 2,650-ish people on my mailing list from zero in January. I have almost 1,000 people in a private Facebook group. And the real crazy thing is I have 56,500 followers on TikTok.
It's unbelievable. And even though I just popped us back to a year ago, where were you a year ago? You didn't really get in motion because just like so many of us with COVID, right? Lives were upside down, things happened, blah, blah, blah. So it was really only in, you said January where you started with all this. So January, February, March, April. So in 3 months, you've achieved everything that you just listed off for us.
2 months, actually, because I really started at the beginning of February.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So everyone's writing, awesome. Wow. That's so good. I know, even me, I'm like, holy crap. How'd she do that?
Me too, honestly.
But you know what? It's not totally surprising because I know what you did, but it's just so cool to see it all work. But like, from your perspective, what happened? What was the magic?
What was the magic? Okay. Well, the magic was really, it sounds so ridiculous, but just doing it. And wait, I have to show everybody this. I kid you not. This is the quote that is on my computer. The secret to being an entrepreneur: start before you are ready. And in the process of doing, you'll figure out what you need to know. Do you see who that's by? It's backwards, but that was in Michelle's class. It was just a random, like one throwaway line she said in one of the videos in HPU. And I was like, I need to freeze that. And it's been sitting on my computer since like
I
October.
love it.
It's because that's it. And I realized the number one thing, and like it seems so cliche, but I had to get the heck out of my own way and really just start trying stuff. So in HPU, we're supposed to do a 5-day challenge. And, that's scary because it's, I want to make a PDF or send something to a mailing list. But a 5-day challenge is like you live out there doing your coaching thing for people. And so I was like going through HPU stuff in the fall. And I said, okay, January, like I knew I just couldn't do it around the holidays. So I'm like, January, I'm going to do my challenge. Went through Michelle's list. How does one set up like a landing page? What is a landing page? So I did the landing page and MailChimp and all that. And I was on Instagram. I had like 100 people followers on Instagram, maybe. And I think I had like 200 on like my personal accounts and, my friends and family and so on. And so I was like, okay, so I got 35 people in my challenge and in my little Facebook group and in my mailing list. That was my entire business in January. It was February 1st when the challenge started. My entire business was, a few hundred people on Instagram, maybe 35 people on my mailing list, 35 people in the challenge, 35 people on Facebook. And that was
Wow.
it.
And that was it. So what you're saying is at a certain point, you were just like, I got to try something.
Yeah,
I just have to start figuring it out.
just doing
And
it. Yeah.
you said I think it was your daughter who got you into TikTok.
Right, right. So I was talking to another health coach, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this woman's having such success." Or actually, I was talking to a business teacher on TikTok, and I was like, "Oh well, yeah, that's cute, but like my 12-year-old or 13-year-old does that." And they're like, "No, no, you don't understand." I'm like, "No, you're right. I don't understand because isn't that just for children doing dances?" And then I got on TikTok and I saw this other coach, and she's like killing it. And I saw this one and this one. And I was like, whoa! So it's not just for kids. And by the way, it's not. It is not. There's 200 million US users, which is 20% of the total. And something like, 70% of them are over the age of 20. Like those are our clients over the age of 20, 70% of them. And something like 40% are over the age of 40. So like, or over the age of 30. Like that's a lot of clients. I'm 80 million people. I'm good. That's a good number.
That's a good place to be. So it's really interesting that you just sort of stumbled onto TikTok. You thought
Yep.
it was for people who are much younger than you. A lot of people will say, I'm not very good at social media. I am over 50. I am over 60, whatever.
Right.
I'm not into social media, even just talking about Instagram or even Facebook. But you're a really great example. I mean, you look like you're about 25, but I know you have
I
you
will
have
be
life
52 in
experience.
June. I'll just have you know right now. Happy to say
All
I'll be
right.
52 in June.
52 in June and dancing around in these videos. But what I want to say is I think you could have picked any platform. There, sometimes there's an advantage to using a new platform because there's not as many people on it.
Right.
But had you brought your stuff and you're dancing on camera and all your know-how about Hashimoto's to Instagram, for example, I think you could have been just as successful there. So I just wanted to say that for everybody listening. This is not specific to TikTok. This is about doing the thing before you're really sure how to do the thing,
Yeah.
getting out of your own way, and having a strategy. So it's
Yeah.
funny because when I brought up this idea of having a strategy like a couple weeks ago, you said, oh, my strategy is just spending too much time making videos and dancing around. But that's really not it. You have a strong strategy. Tell everyone, what kind of videos do you make? Who are they for? And how does that translate to paying clients?
Yeah, well, and I want to go back to what you're saying. The most important thing, like you said, is to figure out the medium you're going to be comfortable with and you're going to show up on, and that really highlights who you are. So, like, you have a history as an art director, right? So maybe like Instagram might be your thing. It might just be like, hey, this is how I express myself. Or some people are writers; they want to blog, or they'll be like, find the thing that you will do, because that's it. Is that when I discovered TikTok, I'm like, I'm a chatty person. This I will do. I will spend 40 seconds in front of a camera saying something. It's like 60 seconds is the maximum. So, so I had to figure out the thing I would do and just be really consistent. I'll do like 2 or 3 videos a day when I first started. I literally put up 4 yesterday, but I hadn't put up any others like earlier in the week or last week or something. And it really is about being consistent. So what I do is, I mean, of course, we talk about this in the Facebook group and in HPU and so on. Pick your niche, figure out who you are talking to. And it does, of course, it doesn't mean you can't talk to the entire world. Like I'm on TikTok, I'm talking to everybody, but you have to know who you're speaking, like what their problems are and what their issues are and what Now I am actually attracting other people because they see me on TikTok and they're like, oh, I'm having trouble losing weight. Is that a hypothyroid issue? But you talk a lot about hormones. Do you know about PCOS? Like people will come to you if they like you and they like your style. They're not going to be like, oh, she said thyroid. I can't talk to her because I have, type 2 diabetes. Like they're like, oh, weight loss. She's still talking my language or whatever. So, but pick one group and I picked it. I still remember very clearly doing your HPU and saying like, okay, you got to pick your niche and saying, pick something that people are willing to pay money, a problem they're willing to pay money to solve. And I know for me, and weight loss is a gazillion-dollar industry, but I knew for me, I just didn't feel like I had enough knowledge of like serious weight loss or muscle eating or various like other things to say, okay, I can sell this. Other people can. I knew I couldn't. But when you said that, I was like, what would people pay a small fortune to? Oh, you mean like me? I have paid tens of thousands of dollars over the course of my life to deal with Hashimoto's. And I'm happy to say it's been very successful. But I knew I could sell that because I believed in it. You don't have to necessarily have the illness or experience or so on. That's the kind of person I am. I do. I just know myself and I need to be able to say, I know it works because I did it. That's who I am. So, know yourself and like your style. So I was like, yeah, I was willing to pay this because it's an incredibly debilitating disease if you don't deal with it. And I'm just going to talk to people about, I always say whenever, I don't do it in every video, but like my basic intro, hi, I'm Danielle Mative. I'm a scientist, health coach, and mom with Hashimoto's. Like know who you are and how you're presenting yourself and what the issue is. And just by saying that, they're like, oh, they get it. Like, she's a scientist. Okay, so she's going to be like nerdy, wonky. Is that my thing? She's a health coach. So she's offering like health coaching. She's got Hashimoto's herself and she's a mom. So she can relate to like, I can't, take 3 months off, go into a cave and like solve my health problems because there's children who need dinner tonight.
Exactly. So you're making these videos for women who are going to relate to some or all of that. That's who you decided you were going to target. You're out there with a very strong message about Hashimoto's specifically, not all autoimmune conditions, not all chronic disease, not general weight loss, but the specific message about Hashi's. So you're doing videos. I've seen you do educational stuff. Hey, here are some ingredients that I'm putting into this smoothie. All this, it's so fun to watch. And then how this is the part that nobody gets, right? This is the part where it gets hung up. We can create content all day long if we are, able to come up with ideas. We can publish ourselves 100 times a day. How does it then translate to clients signing up with you? What happens? Let's say I saw you on TikTok. What would happen next?
So what's really funny is, so I don't know, you guys kind of take this with a grain of salt because it goes completely against the conventional wisdom. So what I did, so I did my challenge in February, and then on Michelle's advice, I took the booklet that I sent out with my challenge, the recipes and the meal plan and so on, and I made it into a PDF and I just called it like the Thyroid Healing Guide or 5-day recipe. I've had a couple of different names. And I put it on my Facebook, Instagram, whatever. You can get this free thing from me. So it became the freebie to get on my mailing list. And so they get the freebie. I'm on TikTok and people always say in the comments, oh my God, where do I start? How do I start? And I say, okay, well, I have this free guide that introduces how you eat this way. And there's a bunch of recipes. And who doesn't want a bunch of free recipes? So that's how I got 2,600 people on my mailing list. And
okay, so just to recap, because again, it could be happening on a different platform, but you're out there, you're talking about Hashimoto's, and then what, people are commenting or they're direct messaging you, or they're like, how do I get started?
All of the above. I mean, and I got to tell you, the other thing is once you're out there talking to people about these issues, like heartfelt, like you've ever seen me on TikTok, like I care about this so much. Like this is my crusade, is like also to, Michelle and I've talked about this, our like feminist crusade to change how like women's healthcare is done and like women caring for their bodies and like doctors taking women's issues seriously and so on. So people feel that I mean it. The most heartbreaking stories, emails and DMs, and because people feel they feel that you care. And that is the most important thing. So then I say, oh, I have this free thing. Because I'm always like, here, get started. Like, and I don't say, people may say, do you want to go on coaching? I'm like, yeah, sure. But I'm always like, oh, you want to get started? Here's a freebie. Like now they're on my mailing list. I don't need to say, oh, you want to get started? I mean, I do say if you want to do a discovery call, great. But the first thing is just, here's this like first step. Because also, not only do I want to get my mailing list, I also want them to understand my approach. And by getting this little freebie, it's also like a little bit of a gatekeeping for both of us. If it ends up like they're plant-based, hey, more power to them. They're not going to be happy with my approach. It's not my approach. You know, like if they're like, oh, well, yeah, that's great, but I can't give up gluten, dairy, soy. I'm like, more power to you. That's not my approach. So it's also a here, get a little sample of what I do. And that is really, and this is the most important thing. So I was thinking about this for this, you know, all the questions people asked about social media. And the most important lesson I think I've learned, social media is not advertising. You are not advertising. You are auditioning. You are literally showing people who you are as a coach. So don't think of it as like the polished ads, you know, you see like, you know, gazillion dollars on like Super Bowl Sunday, right? You're literally putting out materials that show this person, if I were to pay this person money, what would they do? On TikTok, I would sound an awful lot like this and, you know, go between sounding like making jokes and being really scientific and wonky. You know, you would see my 5-day meal plan and be like, oh, she's kind of like a paleo person and talks about anti-inflammatory and she's into, you know, herbs and supplements. Like you're literally auditioning. So it's so important to just be out there authentically as a coach. So people are always like, where do you get material? Just, I mean, I literally imagine what would you say in the first session with somebody or the second or the fifth? What information do you think your client needs? That's literally it. That's all I like. That's how I come up with material. They need to understand
Well,
about
that is a great segue because we got a bunch of questions that came in. And if you guys are here live and you have questions, please ask. It's like, I think one of the number one hangups is what the
right,
heck should I post about? Again,
right.
whether it's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's LinkedIn, doesn't matter. You're on TikTok, like O'Neill asked. And this is a little bit beyond just coming up with ideas, but how do you plan your social media content? Do you have any sort of plan or you just go with the
No.
whim?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, there definitely is, like I said, I think about what are the basics. So well, sometimes I'll kind of come up something on a whim and then I'm like, okay, that worked. Because I also try a lot of things. And I'm like, okay, that worked. So, or I just do it like I kind of get mad. I started this like stupid ass things that doctors tell women with Hashimoto's. I just said this like rant and everybody loved it. And I was like, stupid ass things doctors tell women with hypothyroidism part 2.
Yes.
Stupid ass things. I'm on part 10, by the way. And I think I even have a little piece of paper of more. Like, but also literally, like I have here's my, and I don't mean that I don't plan it, but I also have a little piece of paper next to my desk. And you know, you get all the great, like, I don't know, I'm on like a gazillion health email list, site, whatever, you know, just that. And I'm like, oh, that's a really interesting point. And, you know, I want to do a TikTok video on that. Selenium and vitamin E. Why no gluten? Like, this is literally what I write down because this is what our clients want to know. Like, we think it's really obvious, like, why no gluten? 99% of the world has no idea why gluten might be bad for autoimmunity or for anybody. So, like, start with the basics. And the other thing is, you don't realize is you're going to repeat yourself 37,000 times. No, I mean, you know, I actually read for office once, and they said what when you are sick and tired of your message and you feel like you're like repeating yourself like a robot, that's when people may have just started hearing you. Because it's not like, I mean, we may like to think, oh yeah, people are going to watch every single video. I have repeated the gluten, the whole thing. I mean, I have 150 videos at this point, or 140. I've probably repeated it in at least 30 of them, 40 of them. It's just such a you know, and it also gives somebody a baby step to take. Like, it's not a baby step, but you know, the first step.
Yeah. I love that because it's so
Yeah,
true. I feel like I repeat myself constantly, and yet I'll still get the same question again and again. And people
yeah,
have to hear it. Maybe
yeah.
they have to hear it 20 times. On the 21st time, they're like, oh, it finally sinks in.
Or a
So
different
one way of,
way. You said it a
yes,
different way, and they're like, oh, now that makes sense. You know, so yeah.
Hannah's writing, it does seem so obvious. That's one thing that keeps me from posting. Like, doesn't everybody already know
No,
this?
no.
Now, sometimes that does happen. I see health coaches that are
Yeah,
like very like drink water. And
yeah,
not
yeah.
that I don't think the problem with that is that it's obvious. I think is that it's not targeted.
Right, right, right.
It
So
applies
like,
to
yeah.
everyone.
Or you could say, like for me, I'll say, you know, like say if I were to do a video about why you need to drink a lot of water, I would say, you know, our bodies really need, we have inflammation. We need to really help our livers detox. We need to drink more water. Oh, but by the way, so, you know, drink a full glass of water when you take your thyroid meds. Don't drink a lot of water with your meals because those of us with hypothyroidism or autoimmunity tend to have low stomach acid and you don't want to dilute your stomach acid with a lot of liquid. So now I've just like given the drink a lot of water message, but with a twist, a very legit twist that I tell my clients all the time. So it really just constantly think about like if you were in a session with a client, what are the things they would need to know first? And it's always like, I mean, if you, like I said, you look at my videos, you'll see there's a ton of them that are just, but they're like gluten, dairy, soy. Oh, don't do a ton of cardio. Strength training is better if you have thyroid issues, and like various things like that. But also, the what they really also want is to see the transformation. So I have a whole bunch of videos. In fact, the video, like I had a video that just went viral last week, and it's been seen 750,000 times.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, like these numbers like make no sense to me. Like I don't know where this is coming from. Like Michelle was saying, like, oh, this when Michelle and I talked about this episode, I had 22,000 followers on TikTok. That was 10 days ago. Now I have 56,000. I don't know. I'm convinced that actually the algorithm has become sentient, and this is all happening in the Matrix. Like this is in my imagination.
We are in the Matrix, but I'm going to tell you something. You are creating good quality, entertaining content that is targeted to a certain group of people who need help.
Yes.
And if you guys can do that on any medium, whatever your target market is, if you can be entertaining, if you provide value, people actually want to give you their attention for a couple of seconds. Like you got this. And you can only do this when you are very clear on who your target market is. And you can only turn them into clients if you have that mechanism, like Danielle was talking about, of collecting an email address, offering something for free, and then of course, continuing to communicate them with your email list. Sharon is asking, how much time do you invest in posting to social media? And do you have an assistant?
So how much time do I actually invest in making the content versus how much time do I waste scrolling through TikTok? Those are two different questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I actually, it's funny. I mean, in the beginning, it like, especially something like TikTok, it took me, I probably spent like 4 hours a day for like the first week because I was learning it and I was all nervous. And I'm like, what do I do with my camera? It's actually, now I'm like, why was I, meanwhile, my 12-year-old is like, come on, mom, like, stop being so old. We actually put up 2 videos together yesterday. It was very cute. Dance videos. I like doing the dance ones with her. You do not have to dance on TikTok, by the way. I just like doing a couple of these like 80s music challenge or something. You don't have to dance. But I would say at this point, I probably spend a few hours a week at most. I mean, because what you can do for something like Instagram, TikTok, and I discovered, especially for TikTok, is like, those days you wake up and you're like, wow, my hair looks great and my skin, great. Grab 5 different shirts because, by the way, it's TikTok. You're like, just shirts. I'm wearing like leggings because remember, we're health coaches. We can walk around in yoga pants and people think that's like.
And we do.
I'm actually wearing jeans because I have to go to the doctor's office, but this is the first time all day all week I've been wearing jeans, last 2 weeks. But exactly. So you grab a bunch of outfits. I literally have a bunch of shirts hanging here, get the lighting right. And I'm like, do one little video. And what I've done is, so the thing with, say, TikTok, we can also do with your thing is Instagram or whatever, is I will change the shirts, do a bunch of little videos, like Instagram reels or whatever it is, to music, whatever the little thing is, the little lip sync or whatever the little meme is on TikTok, and then just save them in my drafts folder. I have no idea what the subject of that video is going to be. And that video that went viral, I like recorded it like a month ago. We just come back from my in-laws, visiting my in-laws over spring break. It was like 8 o'clock and I was really tired. I'm like, oh, I didn't do anything on TikTok this week. I captioned that video and then I was like, the ones you spend so much time thinking about, crickets. The one you do in 15 minutes after you come home from your in-laws exhausted. Yeah, that's the one that goes viral. So, so just really answer the question is that in just a few hours a week, honestly, I try to batch them. So do a bunch of Instagram posts or whatever your thing is, and just kind of have them, on deck for when you're just, I have no ideas whatsoever right now.
That is a great tip. And actually, that's something that we're going to talk about during the 5-day challenge, you guys. So again, remember to sign up, healthcoachpower.com/social, is this idea of collecting assets. So your asset could be photography. It could be videos that you're taking. In Danielle's case, it's dancing when when I have a good hair day, I'm trying to do all my videos on these days, because then when you need stuff, it's in your camera roll and you can go back and get it and you have something interesting there. It's so helpful. Danielle is asking, do you focus on TikTok or do you then repurpose content to Instagram and Facebook? How are you handling that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So when right now I was basically focusing on TikTok. I was doing TikTok and Instagram when I was like getting people for challenge and so on. And then things just took off so fast. I was like, holy cow, I just have to stop for a minute. But I do actually want to get back to Instagram. And to answer the other question, I literally hired an assistant who started yesterday. So I just hired an assistant. So everything up till now has had no, it's just because now I have this group program, like, holy cow, there's 26 people I need to manage. Um, but so what I kind of got off Instagram briefly, just because I briefly got overwhelmed. But the thing you can do is you can strip the little logo off your TikTok video and just put it on Instagram Reels. And now you've and I will just absolutely do that. I will absolutely double post it. And the reason why now I'm starting to use both is that I've decided, like, blogging is just not going to be my thing. I love writing, but if I have to sit down and write a 2,000 word blog post, it just, like, it won't happen. It takes too long. And then I put my wonky scientist hat on and I just don't come across as like me as much. 20 years of science writing, I just can't be
That's a hard habit to break.
It's just hard. It's really hard, right? So, but I do find that there are times people like, they want me a recipe. And I'm like, oh, just put an Instagram post. And then I'll link to the Instagram post or let them know, find me on Instagram too. So Instagram is going to go back to being, I haven't done it enough. I'm going back to making it like my mini blog. And there are people that just, they're not just in TikTok. They want to see the visual. They want to see Instagram. I also have a private Facebook group that I started for the challenge originally. And it's funny because I'm also building these assets. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with them right now, but I know it's like, it's not like, don't do it until you have the perfect plan. Like I said, I have 2,600 people on my email list. I actually don't think most of my current sales have come from there. They've actually come directly from TikTok lives, which is weird. But I'm also putting out different kinds of products. So I'm planning a 2-hour webinar where people are going to walk away with like a little workbook with, things to ask their doctor and all that. That I think is going to, my list is going to be gold for that, because it'll be like $29 or $30. But, I'm like experimenting with different kinds of products. And that list is still there. I have like a 20% open rate. I have like 2 people unsubscribed. So clearly they like the content. So I just feel like maybe they just need to warm up a little more. Same thing for my Facebook group. There's almost 1,000 people in it now. But I also feel like, okay, they got the freebie. They're not ready to buy health coaching services. It's kind of expensive. And it's just a mental leap for some people. It kind of gives them like, get to know me a little better. So you just have like little circles of intimacy in a sense. Some people get to know you on Facebook. Some people get to know TikTok. Some people on your email list. And I just feel like I don't necessarily need to know the exact plan for each one of those. Like, they're assets, and as long as they're not like time sinks that aren't returning anything, but they are, they still feel like good investments. I think they're worthwhile, because what I'm really building is an interlocking rings of a community. And that's what we have in the Health Coast, the HPU Facebook and this Facebook is a community, and people come to me literally. They like, I have people, oh my God, I'm so glad I found you. I caught you live again. And I'm like, so you can hear me. See, I've got my awesome whiteboard. Like, you want to watch me write like a graphic, of like the pituitary to the thyroid to the liver. Like, they've seen this 8 times and they want to see it again. Like, I have this little community of fans, of thyroid fans.
Yeah, they look forward to seeing you.
They do.
So I want to just map for everybody, if we can, very quickly. Some people are buying directly, you said, from TikTok lives. You're making some kind of offer and they're taking you up on it.
Yep.
Some people are joining your mailing list, and then clearly you're offering things like your group program to your mailing list, and they're buying that way.
Exactly.
And how else might it go?
So then also, I feel like some people are like, oh, what else? How else can I get, when people either message me or put a comment, like, what do I get started? I'll say, on say TikTok or something, or Instagram, I'll say, hey, there's a link in my bio for all kinds of free resources. And literally there's a little link with a little finger saying free thyroid resources. And you can get that, and my free Facebook group. Because I just feel like it's another opportunity for us. Like, I don't want to talk to them in 140 characters on TikTok. Or the little tiny screen, or, come to the Facebook group, learn more, you'll see more, you'll get more. And some people will just be happy there. And some people want to see me on TikTok, and some people, but I feel like it's all about building this community. And it's actually really sweet, because then people book discovery calls with me and they're like, oh, hi, Danielle. Like, they know me. I'm like,
yep.
Hi. Like, because they've seen me so much, there's already that intimacy.
Yes, and that is really important. Like when you're in your town and you go to the gym and you see someone, you don't know them, but you kind of know their face. Then you see them at the grocery store. And then if you see them at soccer practice, you kind of smile.
And like, now we're friends. Right?
Yeah, now we're friends. We still never have spoken. It's a little bit like that. They're seeing you on TikTok, then they see you in their inbox. And so you're creating what we call inside Healthy Profit University, an engine. It is an engine that drives sales. And so you're creating all the pieces of your engine that lead into the eventual sale. And I'm so happy to see that you are creating multiple ways of
Yeah.
serving people. You kind of have to at a certain point because you can
Yeah.
only work with so many one-on-one
Yes,
clients.
and that's exactly right. And the other thing that I would say that I think is so, so, so important that I always like people I think get hung up on is give it away for free because you can't give away your special sauce. Like people say, oh, what if I give them too much? They're not going to buy my coaching. The coaching is literally your support and your guidance and your mojo one-on-one in a call. You can't put that in a TikTok video. You can't put that in a PDF. You can't. So people are always afraid, like if somebody gets too much, they won't buy it. Well, first of all, if they got the free thing and they don't buy, they weren't going to spend 400 bucks, whatever, 200 bucks. If the answers were all in a 5-page, pamphlet. But what they nobody is coming to us for information. No one. There is nothing that I teach in my courses on TikTok, nothing that is not available for free on Google. Or if you see that top shelf, that's all library books or all of those. This is my health coaching like library here. Every single thing I say is available for free and maybe said better by somebody else, either at the library, on Google. So nobody's coming to us for information. They're coming to us for interpretation, right? They don't want data, they want wisdom. They want like us to tell them what it means. They want us to hold their hand. They want us to listen to them when they go to the doctor and the doctor's a jerk for the 5th time. They want us to listen when they're like, oh, my in-laws came over and they gave me a hard time because I didn't want to eat the cake. And
Yep.
like
How do I
that,
implement this in my
yes,
life?
how do I make the change? Because, so people are always worried about like, what if I give, I'm gonna give away too much? I mean, it sounds so cliche, but the more you give away, the more it comes back to you. It is so true because I think people really think, well, wow, this is a free stuff. Like, holy cow, like what's inside the inner sanctum? Like if
That's
I get,
exactly what
right,
they
if
say.
I
I
get
get that all
inside,
the time.
yes,
Yep.
yes, they're
That's
like,
amazing.
wow.
You've
So
learned
it's all
so
about you.
much. You've
Yeah.
come so far. And what I love is even what you just said a minute ago. Well, I have this Facebook group and I'm not exactly sure
Oh,
how it all
exactly.
fits together. You're learning. You've only been doing this for a short period of time and you'll see what's really providing a
Right,
return. What's maybe something you can let go of. It's not, panning out as well. And this is
right.
how we grow. And it becomes a very organic process, but it all starts with that same strategy. I'm going to say it again, knowing your target
Oh,
market,
yeah.
creating value, creating things for that target market, converting them to your mailing list, and then making offers, which clearly you're doing so many
Yeah.
different ways. So I just want to say, first of all, good freaking job. I think everyone who's here live is feeling the same way. They're like, we love hearing this. We love, and we love hearing your energy. So you've really run with all of this. Tell everybody your website or where
Yep.
they can find you if they
Yep.
want to watch some of your videos.
Yeah, so my website is Thyroid Healing Solutions. And I'm on both Instagram and TikTok as, thyroid.coach.danielle. So,
Thyroid.coach.danielle.
and if you search for me on Facebook as, it's the slightly different name, but if you just look for Thyroid Coach Danielle, the Facebook group will also come up. And I'm totally happy. Like, if coaches want to join my Facebook group just to see what I'm doing or get on my mailing list, like, steal my ideas because, we're all just helping each other. I mean, they're not my ideas, right? I got them from Michelle. And, so honestly, I don't care if people want to lurk and just, see what's going on. That's totally fine with me. I mean, that's how I learned. I learned from other people, from following their accounts, from I literally went into HPU when I told Michelle I was doing the nurture, like the welcome sequence. And I was like, okay, where's the welcome sequence lesson? Okay, number one. Okay, put that to number one. Number two. I
You
like
just copied
literally,
it.
I
Yep.
was like, are you stressed out? Do you have hypothyroidism? Do you, like, I just, and obviously I made it, my own style, but, it's not, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I do notice, one thing I want to say that somebody mentioned in the content, like, what do you do? How do you make for original content? Because there's so much out there and like it seems like we're repeating ourselves. And I just want to reinforce again, the people, like, there are 2 other coaches I've seen on TikTok that literally have 400,000 followers doing similar stuff. So, and then somebody go, oh my God, I'm so glad I found you. And I'm like, how'd you find me? Why didn't you find one of them? Because that's just not like, we keep thinking like we can't compete with the big guys, right? But we're not competing. There's so many people who need our help, and they may find you, they may find somebody else, that other person's message didn't resonate. Like, that's what I say. And also, you need to figure out who you are, also who you want to come across as, because there's this one woman, she's lovely, she's like a nutrition student, she's young, she's speaking her language, and that's great. And then there's another, like if you're kind of looking, your coach is like, you're kind of the girlfriend coach, like, come on, girlfriend, we're going to go to the gym together. And that's awesome. That's not really my vibe. If you're like the nurturing mom kind of coach, that's awesome. That's not my vibe. If you're looking for like the nerdy person who's going to like make sense of all, like, oh my God, there's so much out there. How do I understand it? And also the champion, like, oh my God, the doctors have dismissed me 10 times and it's so unfair. And I'm just looking for someone who'll listen. Now you found your girl. So figure like, do you figure out your niche and also like really lean into you, be authentic to the way you speak. It doesn't have to be like, it's not going to be like anybody else. So however you speak to people, like do that. That's because that's what people want to see. Like I said, it's not advertising. You are literally auditioning as a coach. I don't mean that in a scary sense. I mean, you're giving people a little taste of how fabulous it is to work with you. So, do it on social media.
Oh, Danielle, you rock. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us today. We appreciate you.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Hope to see you all on Facebook or on TikTok or Instagram or wherever it is you do your magic. And tag me. Let me know. I'd love to see it.
Awesome. So listen, you guys, that last part was really important about not just knowing who you serve, how you serve them, but knowing yourself. I'm sure within the first 10 seconds of listening to Danielle today, you caught her vibe, right? Like she's someone that you're going to remember. And in a way, you cultivate that again by doing. You don't have to know right off the bat what your shtick's going to be, et cetera, what your whole personal brand is. It comes with time. You see what people respond to. Danielle said something about people loving her rants, so she's going to rant more. Maybe what people love about you is how sweet you are, and then that's your thing. So you're going to figure all of that out as you go. But the point is to go in with the strategy and then put it out there, see what works, see what doesn't, but don't go in completely blind, or else I think what happens is we just end up wasting a lot of time and going, this is a waste. I wish I had never got involved with social media. I'm shutting it down, right? We start with the strategy, we refine from there. We can all do this. Okay, people are already sharing Danielle's website with friends. Everybody loves Danielle's energy. Again, Danielle, thank you for being here today. And I want to remind all of you to join us for our upcoming 5-day training on how to create a social media strategy that works. I literally have a piece of paper on my desk when I was talking to Danielle, mapping out a strategy of how this is going to lead to this and that is going to lead to that. You want to build an engine, join us at healthcoachpower.com/social. I will see you there. Take care, everybody. Until next time.